What's going on, guys? God bless you. Carlos here with Serranos Mobile Detail in Dallas, Texas. Thank you so much in joining me in today's video. Today we are working with the Rag Company. I'm having a blast out here in Chicago. But for today's video, guys, we're going to be talking about rinseless washing, or maybe waterless as well. But anyways, let's get all set up and we'll get started. So next to me is a gentleman that doesn't need an introduction because you guys follow him, see him in so many forums. For me, I'm like stoked. It's truly a blessing and humbling to be here next to the Rag Company. We are with Mr. Anthony. Yep. So I'm super stoked. So today, we're gonna be learning, like I said, rinseless and waterless. And I do have some questions on that because I'm not a rinseless type of person.
You might be after this.
Yeah, I've done a couple, but I'm still trying to like kind of pull the trigger on it. And hopefully today this kind of just really kind of makes it more easier for me to understand this, because there's many ways to do it. But I really want to know your method and how you guys do it. And for those who kind of are watching here and like, I want to learn how to do rinseless, well, we're going to learn today. So we're going to get started with this. And what are we going to be starting with?
So, Carlos, we're going to start with waterless first, right? And this is going to get people, get their feet wet a little bit. Not actually get their feet wet, but kind of get their feet wet into using just a simpler method of cleaning, right? So basically, we have PNS Epic Waterless Wash, which is just going to be a quick spray-on, wipe-off product. Now, there's a difference between waterless wash and rinseless washing, I should say, that most people aren't really aware of, right? Waterless means you typically have one spray bottle and you have a couple towels, right? There's no water involved pretty much at all whatsoever. It's just the product that you have within the bottle. Whereas a rinseless is going to involve water. We're going to be diluting some product into a bucket. We're going to be using a sprayer as a pre-spray, but the difference is that we are not rinsing at the end, right? That's where rinseless kind of comes into play. And so with all of our towels and all the products that we sell, rinseless is huge for us because you get to use a lot of good microfiber towels, right? You get to use some really cool sponges. You get to use a lot of other really neat features to not only clean your car, but safely clean your car and leave a nice mar-free, scratch-free finish that also takes up a lot less time than going through with a normal soap and water wash. So have you used a waterless wash before?
No, and if I have, I probably used it incorrectly.
Yeah, okay, that's fine, that's fine, that's totally okay.
Waterless, is that, some say it's like a quick detailer. Or I've heard it's like, they say it's a quick detailer. Quick
detailer kind of on steroids. So the difference between a quick detailer and a waterless is that a waterless formula is going to be more designed to lift and encapsulate dirt and remove it from the surface, whereas a quick detailer might have that kind of same effect to a lesser degree, but a quick detailer is going to leave behind a little bit of protection, typically in most cases. A waterless is not going to leave behind protection. It's going to shine up the surface, it's going to clean it, and it's going to use the polymers and surfactants and things like that to do that safely. But a quick detailer is typically going to leave just a little bit of a wax left behind, just to kind of get you to that next wash or keep it looking clean and keep it looking relatively glossy. So for this Epic Waterless Wash, it's really straightforward, it's really easy. You can buy it in the gallon sizes, you can buy it in a small pint size like this, and what I like to do is use high quality towels. So these are the Everest 550 microfiber towels. They have a 70-30 blend with a 70-30 butter soft suede edge. Quite literally one of our safest towels next to our Eagle Edgeless. I mean, what I like about using the white towels is we're gonna be able to show you guys the actual dirt that we're lifting from the vehicle's surface. So what I want to do is we're going to waterless wash this hood right here on this Mercedes. It's a Mercedes. It's exactly what it is. I had to kind of think about it for a second. And so we're going to waterless wash this, showing you how to safely remove the dirt and typically how much product you would use on a waterless, right? Okay. So some people, when they grab a waterless product, they go, okay, now I can clean the whole hood, right? Do you think that that's enough product to clean the whole hood? I wouldn't feel safe doing that.
I'll have scratches probably.
Right, well, because you would lose lubrication, right?
Yes.
And so the idea behind a nice scratch-free and mar-free finish is going to be excessive lubrication. That's going to be the secret, right? That on top of using a high-quality towel. If I was using that much spray with a really cheap microfiber towel, right? Let's just say a really thin towel, or maybe something that was really cheap from the store, I should say. That's something that probably would mar or scratch the surface, right? So what I do with a waterless is I go to town, right? I like to use quite a bit. So I'm gonna go through and I'm going to spray as much as I want on this to make me feel comfortable.
Smells good.
It does. P&S did a good job. They scented it kind of like it's like a mint, right?
Yeah.
Like a nice mint scent. It's refreshing. And I'm going to go through.
You can see the dirt.
You can see the dirt. And so that's one of the biggest things, right? So products that encapsulate and that emulsify and start to lift dirt from the surface are pretty noticeable in comparison to something else, right? If I were to spray a spray wax on this car, it's going to look a lot different than when I spray a waterless wash or a quick detailer or a rinseless wash, right? Because this is designed to clean, a wax is designed to protect. It's not going to be able to clean the surface. It's going to be able to shine it up, but not be able to do it safely when there's dirt on the surface like this. So I'm going to go through, spray this down, and then the other secret here is to always spray your towel. A damp towel is going to absorb more than a dry towel. So I give my towel a couple sprays. I'll give you a couple sprays here. And then when it comes to a waterless, I work in straight lines. So my first pass is going to be right here. I'm going to glide the towel, roll it with my hand, and then pull it from the surface.
Oh, there
and
you
you
go.
can see right there, I have pulled a decent amount of grime. Now, at this point, I gauge whether or not I want to take that towel back to the surface again, or if I'm just going to feel more comfortable flipping it over, right? I'll spray a little bit more product on here, make another pass, roll my towel, look at it, okay, got a little bit less dirt there.
So lifting it is key.
Rolling and lifting is key,
and lifting.
right? And this is where, for example, a bird poops on your car, right? You got some bug guts on your car, right? Some people will go like this and try to scrub it out, right? Yeah, you're scrubbing it, but you're also spreading that dirt around, right? The idea is to get that dirt up and into the towel and away from the surface. So again, with the rolling method here, I am able to safely do that, and you can see all that I'm lifting off. So give it a shot right here.
Right.
I'll give your towel a couple sprays and roll it.
I'm gonna show you guys real quick. We got a white towel, clean. Let's see.
Carlos, you're gonna be a professional waterless washer by the time this is done, I promise you. Roll that towel, there you go. Bam.
Oh wow, okay.
He's a pro already. He knows what he's doing. All right, now, so do you feel comfortable taking that side of the towel to it again?
No, I'd rather just...
I want to flip it, right?
Yeah.
So that other side's perfect. Give that a couple sprays and give it a shot again. Awesome, okay? And I would say that that's also looking pretty dirty. Just flip it over again. And the beautiful part about this, you have 8 sides to a towel, right? So you can keep flipping and going as needed. A couple more sprays here on the towel, and then go for right there, and we'll probably cut it right there at that center line. Awesome. So after doing that, right, I look at the surface, I go, okay, I got a little bit of moisture left from the product itself, right? Some people might look at that as moisture, I look at that as lubrication, right?
Okay.
That's something that's good. I want there to be lubrication on the surface because I'm gonna take my towel again, give it a couple more courtesy sprays, and then I am going to
The blending stage.
I'm going to just start wiping off any of the residue left behind. And this car does have some hard water spots. It probably got hit with a sprinkler, and that's okay. This isn't going to remove hard water spots, but it's going to do a lot better job than a quick detailer at cleaning that. So I'll give you a couple more sprays right there and buff that out to a nice clean finish. And then flip the towel as needed, right? People always they get kind of stingy with how often they should be towel flipping, and if you can't towel flip consistently, then you don't have enough towels. And you know what that means, Carlos? you need to buy more towels, right? I know a good company that sells quite a few of those. So, yep, and then that's going to start evaporating into the surface, anything that's left over. And if you have another dry side, you can hit it one more time. I do have a dry side on mine here. So go through, knock off any of the residual waterless wash.
That's it.
And now you have a difference of
Clean
and
dirty. You can definitely see the...
Oh, you can stand right here. Look at this.
See it, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, that's crazy.
Pretty big difference. Now, do you see any giant scratches that we've left behind?
No.
Did we do that safely? Yes.
Yes.
And the reason for that is because we used probably a third of this bottle, right? So some people might say, well, is that really that cost efficient, right? When you're spraying that much product and using almost half of a bottle to clean half of a hood, right? And the answer is no, it's not cost efficient. Honestly, it's really not. But the whole point of this is to be able to clean on the fly safely. You're on a road trip, you've gotten through a whole patch of bugs. Let's just say you went out on a drive, it's a 90-degree day and a bird pooped on your car, right? You got to clean that off, otherwise it's going to etch the paint, right? This is going to be a fast option to do that safely without necessarily having to do the whole entire vehicle, especially when you're doing it on the fly. So not cost efficient, but very effective. So now I think it's time that we shift into a very cost efficient method, right? That also will do a very similar thing and not just clean a part of the car, but clean the entire car.
Awesome. If you're a detailer who maybe is just starting in your business, you don't have a pressure washer, or you have water restrictions. If you're in Dallas, Denton, Louisville, I've heard a lot of things about those areas where you guys are getting dinged for using a lot of water. This is probably the best solution that is gonna help you wash cars safely without having to worry about, like, is the city gonna drive by and get me in trouble. So we're gonna be learning the Rinseless Method.
Yeah, so Carlos, have you ever used a rinseless wash before?
So I have done it,
Okay.
but pretty much like I did it once and then I was like, all right, cool.
You did it. Yeah, you're like, I did it once, yeah.
You know, but it's something that I feel like I need to try to do more.
Okay.
To conserve more water maybe.
Yeah.
Because I think with my business as well, it's like my business is growing. I'm not getting those like dirty cars now.
Correct, yeah, yeah.
So it's like, why am I using so much water?
Yeah.
But I'm still using a lot of water. So I feel like this would be probably the best route for my business.
Yeah.
So I don't have to be pulling out the pressure washer every time.
Absolutely. So rinseless washing, right? Again, I mentioned this earlier. It all comes down to the name, right? What does rinseless mean? It means that we are still washing the car, but we are not rinsing it at the end. We are not using free-flowing water to really do a majority of the work. We're actually focusing on the chemical formula, right? Everything that's within that chemical to be able to do the work for us, and also our technique. The technique is going to be the number one thing that makes or breaks a rinseless wash. So learning how to do it properly is absolutely huge, and I think a lot of people, when it comes to rinseless, they get kind of freaked out by it because maybe their first experience of car washing was when they were a teenager or a kid with their parents and they got to do soap and water and they learned how to do that technique from them, but down the road, they never really got to learn the technique of a rinseless, right? So if you switch places and say, well, if my dad taught me how to do a rinseless wash when I was a teenager, that would be what you know, right? That would be what you feel comfortable with. And then somebody says, here's soap, you'd go, well, I don't know how to use soap. I know how to use a rinseless, right?
Yeah.
So it's just because what most people have learned their entire lives has always been something different. So when it comes to rinseless, they feel a little hesitant. But once you learn about the product, once you learn about the technique, it is a life-changing method of washing, and it's something that all of you can do at your home. You can do it in an apartment complex. You can do it in the comfort of your garage during the winter. You can do this at a car show. You can do it at a park. You could do it quite literally anywhere. And that's kind of the beauty of this whole thing. All you need is a bucket. You need just a little bit of water, roughly 3 to 4 gallons, and you are golden. So for this today, we're going to be using Absolute Rinseless Wash from PNS, right? So Absolute Rinseless Wash was actually new to the market here in 2022, and PNS had been working on a rinseless wash for quite a few years. Now, what a lot of people don't know is that we are rinseless snobs at the rag company, and so we were very picky about rinseless washing. So PNS actually used us as a test bed, and we worked very closely with them, helping them develop this product and getting it to where it was ready for the market and getting it to where we felt confident and comfortable with how good it felt, how good it looked, and the performance of everything from start to finish. So Absolute Rinseless Wash, it's amazing. This bottle right here is roughly 20 bucks. You can get it at Car Supplies, you can get it at the rag company, you can get it on Amazon, but I mean, for people here, literally here at the Bay, they can walk right inside that shop right there and go pick up a 32 ounce, which is pretty awesome. So anyways, so taking our bottle here, we want to give this thing a really good shake. Okay. I have roughly 3 gallons of water inside my bucket right here. Actually, I'd probably say closer to 4, right? Would you say that's about 4?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, well, we're eyeballing it today. So I got 4 gallons of water. I have my 32 ounce of Absolute. I'm going to shake this up, and I'm going to take my lid here. So how this works is one lid is about half an ounce, right? A little bit less than half an ounce. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of eyeball it and say 4 capfuls per 4 gallons of water. That should give me my ideal dilution, right? My 256-to-1 dilution, which is 256 parts water and 1 part product. Does that make sense? And so taking this, I'm going to do 4 heaping capfuls. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to go ahead and mix it up. Do you want to do the smell test?
Yeah.
How does it smell? Smell that.
It's like a
Coconutty, tropical paradise,
yeah,
right? Are you okay with that?
Yeah,
right?
that
Not
smells
bad,
really good.
right? Let's just say you're in the dead of winter, right? This is a refreshing smell, right? You smell this
That
and you go,
smells good.
hey, life's pretty good, man. So mixing this up with my hand, this is a ready-to-go polymer-based product right now. So at this exact dilution, I can use this safely on the exterior, I can use this on the interior, I can use this on the glass, I can use it on the wheels, I can use it on the engine bay, I can use it on the jams and everything, right? Again, 20 bucks. I used 4 capfuls of this, and I now have 4 gallons of product that's ready to go for virtually everything. So what's more cost effective, waterless washing or rinseless washing? Really? When you think about it, right? Rinseless is going to be the answer to pretty much everything, and that's why so many people do it, because not only is it cost effective, but it's extremely effective. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. So here with my product mixed up, this is the hack right here. When it comes to rinseless washing, right, instead of taking a wet wash mitt onto a dry surface, right, there is still a very slight, but it's a slight amount, chance where you might have some dirt on the surface that might have pressure points that are unideal for that sponge at that moment and could potentially cause light marring. I don't want there to be that chance. I want to completely eliminate that chance 100%. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 32 ounce empty sprayer here that conveniently says Absolute on it, right? Dunk this into my liquid and fill this up all the way to the top. And what's going to happen is I'm going to have roughly 32 ounces of ready-to-go cleaner for this entire vehicle. Again, everything from the interior to the exterior, I'm ready to rock and roll. So taking my Tolco sprayer head, giving this a spin, giving this a couple sprays, make my adjustments as needed, back it out a little bit. I like it right about there. So this is our pre-spray solution. So we're going to walk over to the car here.
All right.
On this side is totally fine. And what I'm going to do from top to bottom, I'm going to start pre-spraying this. So taking my sprayer and getting solution on the vehicle. There's no such thing as too much. There's such thing as too little, but again, you're taking that slight chance where you're not going to have product on the surface. What this is doing is it's landing on the surface and it's starting to encapsulate and emulsify and break down that dirt, right? When you're using let's just say water, for example, right? Water isn't designed to encapsulate and emulsify. It's not designed to break down dirt. It's designed to rinse it, right? So what happens is you're spraying water, which typically has hard water minerals in there. It's got calcium and magnesium, and you're using things that will technically degrade the surface or actually make it worse than it would when you're using a chemical designed for paint itself. So not to say that water's bad. We all use water in our washes, right? But when it comes to spraying something on the car at all, this is probably going to be safer than straight up water out of your hose. So I'm going to spray a lot, and it's already going to begin working and breaking down all that dirt. Now you can use 2 sprayers, you can use IK sprayers, you can use other types of pump sprayers, but the idea is to get this on the surface. So once it's on the surface, you can see that we have pretty good coverage, right?
You can see it breaking down.
And you can see it breaking down, right? Inside some of these little beads right here, it's actually going to start lifting and pulling that dirt from the surface. And if the car has protection on it, it's going to beat up that dirt and then
bring it down,
slide down, right? And that's perfect. It's amazing because you're relying on the technology and the formula of the product to do that work before you've even touched the car, which you can't say that about all things, right? You can't say that about water in most situations. So from here, we're gonna take the Ultra Black sponge. This is probably one of the best sellers when it comes to rinseless washing because it makes things easy. Now, some people get freaked out about sponges. They go,
Scratch.
Well, it'll scratch, right? Well, this sponge was created by Lake Country, right? And it was designed specifically for rinseless washing. The foam cell structure of this was so soft that it won't scratch, but it also has these cuts inside the sponge and these pockets to where if it is going to pull away dirt, it's gonna pull it away safely into those pockets. And then the moment I dunk it back into that bucket, all that dirt's gonna be released. So I have a fresh sponge going onto this car every single time like I would when I first put it on the car, right? So it's like I'm refreshing it and resetting it every time I dunk it in this liquid. So dunking it here into the Absolute, give it a couple squeezes. We're gonna pull this out, examine our sponge, making sure we have plenty of that chemical running through it. Dunk it in again, squeeze it out to the point of dripping. So what I like to do is feel the weight of that right there.
Okay.
See how it's got product in it?
Yeah.
And if you actually look at the bottom, you can see the darker areas that have the rinseless built within it. And you can see that on here on the cells of the foam and on the cuts of the foam, I should say. So flipping it back over to this side, dunk it in, get a little bit more product in here, and we're gonna go ahead and start from top to bottom. So this is a convertible, right? Do I like cleaning convertibles? Not really, but you know, it is what it is. Is it safe on convertible tops? Absolutely. So I'm gonna take this, glide it across that top there, go down to the windows, and because this sponge has angles to it, I'm actually able to angle up into the corners, get down into this corner, make my passes here, safely clean the windows, go back to this panel right here since I kind of sprayed this a little bit, and go ahead and clean that off.
And with this product, they have like a water softener. Is that something like?
Absolutely. I see what I did. Absolutely. Yes, it does. So the beauty of a rinseless wash is that I can take normal tap water, right? That could be filled with hard water contaminants, right? Calcium, magnesium, all that within it, right? Or just whatever random junk you have in there. This Absolute is going to soften that. It's going to prevent the calcium and magnesium from bonding to the surface, which means it is water spot proof. Now, I want to say that kind of loosely, right? Because if it's 110 degrees in Arizona and you're spraying a ton of this and not working maybe a few panels at a time and it dries, you're going to be left with some spots, but it's going to be a polymer spot, not a hard water spot. So in my testing with this product and the help with the development of it, I actually went out on 110 degree days on Dane's car, his Jaguar, he had a black Jaguar, and I sprayed down a ton of Absolute on the surface and I left it sit there for 9 hours and it dried on the surface completely, 100%, right? Now, would I ever do that with hard water? Absolutely not, right? I would just have ruined the paint, probably would have etched the clear coat.
Yeah.
I went back out there all those hours later, took a little bit more of this Absolute in a sprayer. I sprayed those areas where the water spots had dried and wiped them down, took a towel, buffed them off, gone.
That's crazy. Because what I ended up doing once is, so I bought some rinseless and I just dumped it in my whole water tank.
Okay, yeah.
Because I don't have like a DI tank or somebody said it's a water softener, so I grabbed the whole thing and I just dumped it into my water tank. So I was like, I don't know how I'm supposed to do that, but I was like, I just did that.
Yeah, you probably need the correct dilution next time you do that,
Probably.
right? But I mean, you probably didn't hurt anything. But yeah, you want to keep it at that 256:1 dilution to have that most perfect effect and of efficiency and also keeping the cost down. So anyways, this window's clean. I mean, just taking this over, it's clean. So I'm going to take the sponge back in here. I'm going to knock out this right here, knock out around here. I'm going to kind of show you the speed at which I would currently work. Going through, getting around all those areas. Anything that's got bug guts on it, I might scrub it a few more times, dunk it back in my bucket, squeeze a little bit more product out, and then go through on this side panel here.
And what's the average time that it would take somebody, you know, to get to do the rinseless method?
Well, I'm going to
obviously it varies, but
yeah, I'm going to show you right now. So this door right here, clean, all the way up to the top, working in straight lines. Flipping my sponge as needed. Flip it to a different side, same thing. And it always want to work from top to bottom. If you do hit a lower and go back up, it's not the worst thing in the world. And that door is clean, right? So if I'm gonna do a speed clean really quick, and I'm gonna let you do the fender here in just a second here. I'm gonna go like this. Flip my sponge. And that's clean.
That's it.
And I can dry it. Move on with my life. So, in terms of time saving, it's not even comparable.
Yeah.
Right? Because I would have to go
get the pressure washer, foam.
Foam, okay, bucket, you know. All right, soap, okay. Oh, 2 buckets, okay. Well, now I got to dunk in my second bucket, back in my soap bucket, back onto the thing again, wipe it, wipe it, wipe it. Okay, now I got to rinse it, right? Then I have to rinse it. And then I go, okay, now I have to grab my drying towel.
You're making me think of everything I do every day.
And then call it good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab a drying towel really quick, but here's one other tip and trick that you can use. This is clean. I feel confident that it's clean, right? I have products still left on the surface that I know is clean. But if you are very obsessive and you really wanna make sure that you're 100% good, go like this.
Again.
Maybe I missed a spot, right? Now I just have more of this perfect formula that's going to help me remove that, and I'm going to call it good. Now I can tell you right now I didn't hit this lower area, so grab my sponge, hit that lower area really quick, and back into the bucket. So I'm going to grab a drying towel, but go ahead and fill that surface.
That's clean.
Sorry, this is kind of loud here. Brand new towel problems.
That's great. That's like clean, clean.
So go ahead, knock out that fender using the Ultra Black sponge there. Probably a little bit more product than that. You'll kind of feel the weight. So squeeze it right there. Perfect. You feel that weight there?
I've always been squeezing it like all the way through.
Yeah, no, that's the perfect round, right? That you have right there. Now flip it over on its, its back. Perfect, and start going for it. Now, does that feel like you're doing any damage?
No.
No. It's smooth, right? It's slick. Dunk it back in. Probably hit it one more time just for security measures, just to make sure you really got it.
I've always been squeezing all the water out.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. You want to leave that in there.
Because that's the lubrication type.
Yep, exactly. Perfect. So you've done that. Now what I want you to do, we're going to give it, again, a couple more security sprays. We're going to go ahead and spray our towel because why? A damp towel.
It's a good towel.
Absorbs more than a perfectly dry towel.
I started doing that recently, actually.
So now what I want you to do here, start from the windows here and start drying that down, and then tell me how that feels to you.
And this one is the
Liquidator.
Liquidator.
Yep. Also available here at Car Supplies.
Bam. That's.
So how does that feel?
It glides.
It glides,
That's
right?
gliding.
It's gliding.
That's crazy. And it's a good finish too. It's not like...
It's a really good finish. There's no marring. There's no scratching. It's very slick. And I'll tell you right now, this is a rental car. It hasn't been deconned, right? There's probably plenty of fallout. There's probably plenty of stuff on this thing, but it doesn't feel that way.
So the only way you can really create marring with this type of product is what I've been doing. Letting all the product out.
Not going in with a dry sponge, probably, But I mean, this is the safe and effective way of doing this. And I love it because it can be done on everything, right? Your glass, it can be done on the paint, right? We have a good kind of comparison here with the waterless that we used earlier, right? And now the rinseless here, right? And I feel like this cleaned better than the waterless in my opinion.
Yeah. When it comes to like wheels, do you do a rinseless on wheels as well, or do you do more like a pressure washer?
Yeah, no, I'm gonna show you how to do a rinseless on wheels. It's only gonna take me 2 seconds to do. It might be too fast, but you know what? I'll show you how to do it anyways. So give me 1 sec here. I'm gonna grab.
I've always wondered that, like, because I hear a lot of people will say, oh, I will use my pressure washer for the wheels and tires, but I'll do rinseless on the vehicle.
Exactly. So what do I have here? I have our mini gauntlets, right? So this is going to be our 12 by 12 gauntlet size. This is the baby guy, right? But this is technically it's our wheel gauntlet, right? Because it's a real gauntlet, but it's a wheel gauntlet. So this is gonna be perfect for exactly what we're about to do right now.
Okay.
So for rinseless washing, for just quick cleaning and all of that, it's ideal. But this is the cool part. I can dunk this inside my Absolute, right? Let's just say I've done the entire vehicle. I've cleaned the whole thing, right? All I have left are the wheels. But I still have 3 gallons of rinseless wash product left. Am I gonna dump that out? No, it's perfectly good, right? I could probably do a whole nother car with it. So I'm gonna save that for the wheels at the end. And now this wash has literally costed me $1 and some water, right?
Yeah.
And maybe a little bit of wash time in the washing machine because I'm gonna have to wash my towels. You don't need to wash the sponge, just wring it out. So what I'm gonna do here, take my rinseless, go through. This wheel has horrible curbing, but you know.
They've had some fun.
They've had some fun in this thing, right? And I'm gonna go ahead and clean this down. I'm even gonna spray the tire as well. After I've done that, I'm going to take my wheel gauntlet, fold it into fourths here, and I'm gonna start cleaning my wheel off. Now, the reason why I do this with a towel instead of brushes is because I'm gonna be able to actually pull away a lot of that brake dust or any of that grime off the surface rather than just scrub it in, right? Because brushes are great at dislodging contamination, especially when you have an appropriate cleaner or an appropriate amount of lubrication. But we don't have that froth, right? And we also don't have that high rinsing ability, right? So if I'm just dislodging it, right, I'm not actually gonna be able to remove it unless I completely rinse it off. So what I need to do is remove it with the towel. So taking the towel here, going through, removing all that brake dust from the surface, cleaning it off thoroughly, flipping my towel constantly as needed, especially if I'm working with a really high gloss black wheel. I just want to reduce the amount of marring that could happen at all whatsoever.
So flipping is a key ingredient in this, I feel like.
Always flip. And after a while, it's like muscle memory. I don't even think about it. I just know.
Flip the towel.
So I'm constantly flipping this towel, and I don't have to think about it. Again, it's just part of. It's ingrained in me now. I've done it for so many years that I'm so used to flipping this towel. So I'll go through, clean this, maybe wipe down a little bit of that caliper as well, flip the towel more, get inside the lug holes with the towel. It's kind of perfect for that. And then go through and call that good there. Now, what I can do is if I have an extra gauntlet towel or maybe a towel I don't really care about, that's when I can go through and
hit the tires. Okay.
So just do a quick little scrub around the tires here. Try to remove.
Preferably have a towel that you probably won't use a lot for your tires specifically.
Yeah, exactly. Let's just say it's my throwaway towel or whatever it may be. And so I'll look at it, right? And I go, okay, so I removed a little bit of something on here, but whatever I removed, every time I dunked it back in that bucket, it has now gone into the bucket and sunk down below the grit guard. And there is a grit
guard in here, guys. Yep. For those wondering, there is a grit guard in here, so that's crazy.
It is, and so what I'm gonna do from here, I have one more wheel gauntlet here. And again, what am I gonna do? Security spray, right? Couple more sprays here. Dry towel, couple more sprays inside here. And I'm going to go ahead and dry off that wheel. And you know what, man?
Dang.
That looks freaking good.
Looks really good.
that looks freaking good for the little amount of effort I put into that without 5 different brushes and without all the everything else. Now, if I wanted to get into the barrels, I can throw a wheel woolly inside here. I can throw a barrel brush inside here. It's the same concept. It's the same thing, just less water. And so I go through, clean those up, shine them up. I make one little ring around the tires here, clean off any of that residual.
That looks good.
And
there you go.
That's not half bad, right? Considering it took me probably a third of the time it would have taken for any other type of wash method. And it really comes down to using, again, a premium rinseless wash, like Absolute, and using premium towels, right? Would I have the same effect with cheap towels? Probably not, right? If I was drying with a really cheap microfiber drying towel, I may have been pushing around product and absorbing it, right? I may have taken a Scotch-Brite sponge and had a bad experience and said, this sponge doesn't work. Well, yeah, it's not the right sponge.
Yeah.
It's not meant for that. But if I use the right products in the right conjunction with the right technique here, I'm left with
flawless,
an amazing finish.
That's crazy.
So what have I converted you? I dropped a towel.
After seeing you do it, it makes more sense.
Yeah.
Are you explaining the process of why, or the process behind it?
Yeah.
It makes more sense.
Yeah.
So this is definitely something I'm definitely gonna implement more into my business now, because that's the way you demonstrated. It's the way I haven't seen it like that.
Yeah.
And I've been doing it incorrectly, so.
Yeah. No, and that's
sorry to the customers who have marred the crap out of your cars.
Well, that's kind of why I'm here. I can't help you people. I can't help the previous customers, but I can help the future customers.
Right.
And making sure that Carlos
that I don't do it. Yeah. So don't ding me on it, guys. But again, I hope you guys kind of enjoyed really this video of the rinseless method, and as well as a waterless method. I know those are two things that we're always trying to really conversate about. The rinseless is definitely one that we need to implement, I feel like, as detailers, or even if you don't want to implement it, at least carry yourself these types of products, because you can use this on like some really well-maintained cars.
Absolutely.
To like clean the interior, remove any type of grime and stuff. Clean your windows. If you don't want to buy glass cleaner, guess what? This does it as well. So same thing, everything in my business is, if there's multi-uses with that product, I'm buying it. So after really kind of seeing the demonstration here, again, shout out to the Rack Company for the opportunity to showcase this to me. And also, again, if you need any type of these products, you can definitely find them here at the Car Supplies warehouse, or at the base here in Chicago if you're watching it here. But again, guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. As always, God bless you guys. Thank you again to the Rack Company.
Absolutely.
And we'll catch you guys on the next video.
See ya.